So, Manu, I think we should just start. Manu, am I audible?
Yep, you are.
So let's start today's session. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Abhishek Oja, Secretary of Sundarban's House and host for today's session. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for the third session of our placement series. Agenda for today's session is Mastering Gen AI and Opportunities. This placement series is brought to you by Sundarban's House in collaboration with Student Placement Council. We are delighted to see so many aspiring data science professionals here, eager to enhance their skill and knowledge. Today, we are going to deep dive in the world of Gen AI. Let me introduce a person who optimizes expertise and success in field of AI. Our today's guest speaker is Nishant Welpulwar sir. Nishant sir is a senior data scientist with a total of a 10 plus year of experience in data-driven analytics product development. Currently working as an AI consultant at Google. He has 4 plus years of experience in predictive analysis using machine learning, deep learning, image processing, computer vision, Python, statics, OpenCV, and cloud. He has also 5 plus years of experience in descriptive analysis using Power BI dashboard, SSRS report, SQL Server, and SSIS. He is working closely with customers to understand their requirements and provide data-driven actionable insights by leveraging AI on cloud-native software solutions. So, without further ado, let's warm welcome to Nissan sir.
Hey Abhishek, thanks for the intro. Let me share my screen first, then we can get started.
Yes, sir, yeah.
I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible, sir. Guys, give me a thumbs up. So let's start today's session. Just give me a thumbs up.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining. And thanks, Abhishek, for inviting me. It's been a long time after I'm coming back to college. Uh, just brief about myself, right? So I have more than 10 years of experience in analytics. Uh, when I used to do analytics was quite different at that time. Now it's totally different. This AI is just progressing like nothing, right? When I started, I used to do analytics in different way. At that time, SQL Server was there, data warehousing, reporting tools, Power BI dashboards or Tableau dashboards, and we used to find out the pattern on the historical data, right? But there were no predictive analysis at that time. We were doing only on the historical data. What is the pattern we see on the historical data? Now, after I've moved on to data science and predictive analysis, there we started doing what will happen in the future based upon a historical data. So then I started my journey, and I'm currently working at Google as a AI consultant. My role at Google is to interact with the customer. So I basically in Google Cloud. So my role is to interact with the customer to understand their use case, understand the data, and see how AI can be used, how the predictive analysis can be used for their use cases. So I closely work with them to build them any generative AI model or machine learning model and help them out. So I'll be sharing a lot of experience I had. I hope you find it very interesting. So agenda, full pack agenda, will start with introduction to Gen AI. But before going to the Gen AI, we need to understand how it started. What is machine learning? What is deep learning? Then we move on to generative AI, how generative AI works. Then we'll talk about the prompt designing, why it is very important to do prompt designing. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about RAG. RAG is very important in the industry. You must have heard the issue with the LLM, the hallucination, right? So to take care of that, RAG is very important. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about opportunities in Gen AI. There are a lot of buzz around the Gen AI and data science in general, but we'll see what are the opportunities is there. Is the only buzz or actually there are opportunities in the industry? And then I'll be sharing the interview tips. I have myself given a lot of interviews. I have taken the interview as well. So I will be sharing my experience, how you can prepare for the interview, what are the things you need to keep in mind while preparing for the interview, what kind of questions, what kind of skill set industry are looking for when they're hiring the data scientist. All right. And at the end, we will have a question and answer. Uh, if you have any question, please hold till the end. We'll spend some time. If you have any question, we'll take that as well. All right. So let's move on. So currently we are in AI-driven revolution, right? You must have heard AI everywhere, right? Everyone is working on AI. Everywhere is AI. There is a revolution is going on, and there are a lot of nervousness around it as well because people are saying there will be impact on job. Uh, there will be a lot of layoffs. So we'll see how this revolution will evolve. So what will happen in the future? We'll see what happened in the past, and then we'll see what will happen in the future, right? And machine learning, data science, this is what we do. We look at the historical pattern and try to predict what will happen in the future. The same way, will same analogy will apply over here and see how this AI revolution is evolving, how it is impacting us, and how we can uh, prepare best for that. So there are a lot many revolution happen throughout the human history, but there are some major evolution happen that majorly impacted us. So first one is like steam power. So before steam power, everything was like manual work. Everyone were doing the manual work, but there was steam power innovation happened. Then steam engine happened, and then railway it came into the picture. Now moving forward, afterward the electricity that revolution happens. Now you can imagine electricity just transformed the manufacturing industry. So whatever industry we used to have that were mostly manual or steam power, but electricity completely transformed it. And now you can see everywhere is electricity. We use electricity everywhere, whether it's a mobile, laptop, washing machine, and we can't imagine the electricity life without electricity. Like so, electricity is integral part of our human life, right? So that way it completely transforms us. Then afterwards, IT industry happened, information technology came in. Because of that, computer science, hardware, computer engineering, that's discipline came up. And now everywhere is information technology. Everywhere is a software we see, whether it's our TV, washing machine, mobile, car, you name it, everywhere you see software. So people started writing the software to automate some of the things, right? So obviously there was some impact on the job. The manual work people were doing that got automated due to software. But the other way around, there are a lot of opportunities came. Now see in India, there are a lot many software jobs. It is more than before, right? So there was some impact, but at the same time, there are positive things which generate lot of jobs because in general our productivity got increased. Now we are in AI revolution, right? Now with the help of technology, information technology, everyone is using the laptop, mobile phone, TV, all the electronic devices are generating a data. Now all this data are used to train the model, and based upon that train model, there are some prediction happening. And these predictions are personalized. It's not a general prediction, it's a personalized. Whatever prediction model will do will be different for me and that will different for Abhishek. Right? So that much impact this AI is having now. Now with the Gen AI, it's completely transforming. So before data science, what used to happen? Data scientists building the model, it used to take 8, 9 months to build the model. And then IT software industry mostly were using this. But with the Gen AI, all the AI is going everywhere now. J- AI can be used in the agriculture sector, manufacturing sector, everywhere. Apart from software, also AI is getting used. Now you can see AI is transforming our life. It's become integral part of our life, and going forward, that will have the big impact on us in positive way. And there were two things we can do. We can sit back and see uh, this revolution happen, because all this revolution happened at that time. We're not there. Now this revolution happening, at least we are there, right? So the two things we can do. One thing is just to sit back and let it happen. Other thing is proactively take participate in this. Try to learn all these things, because of internet and information technology. All the knowledge is there. Now it's up to us whether we catch the bus or miss the bus, right? Now let's see how it happened, right? If you see in 2017, data science, it's not new, right? It's there from 2019, 17, 80s, but at that time it was only in the research field. Researchers, they had the data, they were doing the research, they were coming up the different statistical model, and they are doing the modeling at that time. But it was not there to use for everyone, right? Then after some time, in 2005 afterwards, it started coming to India. It started getting the mainstream. IT industry found the potential in that and saw it can completely transform the business they do. Then afterward, they started applying this machine learning and data science into your use case, right? So then applied data science picked up. Before 2007, there were machine learning models. There was a statistical model. So those models were good, uh, but those models were working fine with the structured data. With unstructured data, the output was not that good, right? And we had lot of data, and the computation was also the challenge. Then comes the neural networks. So whatever limitation we had with machine learning model, somehow, somewhat that been reduced by deep learning models, because deep learning model could find a complex structure in the data. Deep learning could run on a lots of data, and that time GPU were available, so it started picking up, right? So that in neural network there was CNN model for images, there is LSTM model for NLP, and then they were working fine, but there was some issue with that as well. There was some limitation with that as well. As researchers started building deeper model, deeper model means neural network with lot of layers. At that time, there were, after some time, the output was going down. The model could not find or remember the pattern in the data. So that was the challenge. Then comes the transformer model. This is attention-based model, which was developed at Google, and it was open source, and it is completely transformed the neural network architecture. So whatever limitation we had before, it is completely removed by this transform model. And today, what we see in ChatGPT, BART, a Gemini, or LLM models, behind the scenes transformer architecture is used, right? So this journey innovation started with transformer from the Google. In 2018, Google released BERT model. This is a language model, very helpful, very useful for LLM use cases. In 2018, same year, AlphaFold, which able to find the or predict the protein structure. It was also breakthrough in that way. And 2019, T5 model is a text-to-text model, which is 10 billion parameter open source model. This is LLM and transformer based model, much better than the BERT model. Then 21 Lambda. This model Google released. This is just for the conversation, for the chatbot use cases. So that is highly used. Farm-based model. This is generalized with multiple domain. So all this model were for particular domain, but it's a more generic model, which is released in 2022. And then 2023 BARD, which is based on Lambda model. It is just for the conversation, the chatbot, and the way we do the conversation we see now, which was based upon that. And now Bard is renamed to Gemini, and 2004 we see newer model, better model, Gemini model. If you see earlier, it was text-based model only. Now Gemini you see multimodal model. We'll talk about multimodality afterwards. This is how this revolution happening, and you can see what space is happening. It's happening at very rapid pace. Now, before directly going into the generative AI, let's quickly go through the machine learning, deep learning, and make sure we have the concept clear. There are a lot of terms, and sometimes people get confused about that. So it's very important that we understand what is the difference between all these things. I believe you're already working on data science as part of your curriculum, so you might be aware of these things. But let's quickly go through this. Now, AI generally, what is AI? AI is a discipline. AI part, means what AI is trying to do is try to create an agent which acts like a human. Right? It's a discipline, high level discipline. It's like a math. Math is also discipline, and under math there are different subfield like statistics, algebra, geometry, all these things. So that way, AI is an umbrella term. It's a generic way to say that we are working on something to make machine act as a human, right? So that's a AI. Now, machine learning is a field. So machine learning talks about a specific model, how you can train the model, how you can make machine learn without explicitly programming it. So this is called machine learning. Now, machine learning is further divided into two, supervised and unsupervised model. The supervised model means you have the labeled data. What do you mean by labeled data? You have the data and you know the output as well. This is called labeled data. And whenever you have such kind of data, you have to use supervised model for that. There are different supervised models, regression, classification model, and under that, there are a lot many. And there is unsupervised model. In unsupervised, there is no label. You only have the data. And the main goal of supervised, unsupervised model is to group the similar kind of data, right? So this is the main difference between these two. Uh, Small example. Uh, Suppose you have the restaurant and the restaurant do delivery. One is home delivery, one is pickup, and there is a total bill. Based upon that, how much tip people are giving, we have the all this data. Now, once we train the regression model on that, whenever new order comes and we know the billing amount, we can somehow statistically predict how much tip will be there. Right? So this is a simple example of supervised learning. Why it is again supervised? Because we know the labels, we know the output of the historical data. Now again, supervised, as I said, supervised, there is no label, there is no output. We are trying to group the similar kind of data points. So this is a small example. This is experience in the field, and this is the income. And based upon that, we can group two category over here. So generally, in unsupervised model, there are different model, PCA, clustering based model that we have to use. Uh, Statistically, how it looks like. Supervised learning model, you have the data, you have the model, you do the prediction. Now, along with the prediction, you have the expected output. This is a label data. Now we compare both what is predicted and what is actual, and what is the difference, we call it error. And this error again propagated back, and again we do the prediction. So we keep on doing this till the time we get a minimum error. Right? This is how generally supervised learning use. Unsupervised, you have the data, you have the model, and it's try to group the similar data points. Right? So there are also optimization equation are there, but basically we don't have means the error we calculate is totally different than here. Here we have the actual and predicted, so we know the exact error, but here there are different way we calculate the error. Now, as I said, machine learning works fine when you have the structured data. Machine learning struggles when there is unstructured data. And if there is a complex pattern, you need to find between the input and output. So then there comes to the deep learning part. And deep learning, how it works, it's based on a neural network architecture. You have the input, you have the layers of neurons, and you have the output layer. You can have multiple neurons in a single layer. You can have multiple layers, and there are different way we can create this architecture, right? And what it's trying to do, it's trying to find the pattern between input and output and store that pattern in this hidden layer. So whenever new data comes, it goes through this. It's apply with this hidden neural network, and then we give the output, right? This is work best when you have unstructured data. Now moving on, generative AI. Now generative AI is also part of deep learning. What it means? It means that it also use a neural network architecture. As I said, generative AI use attention-based architecture. Now, deep learning models, they are divided into two, discriminative and generative. We have seen, we have the input data, we have the output data. Discriminative finds the pattern between input and output through statistical model. And then whenever new data comes, it do the prediction and we get the output. Another way around, generative AI, what it's trying to do, it's try to find the pattern on the training data. And whenever we give the prompt, it's try to generate a similar kind of data, which is it trained on, right? So here we are doing the prediction, but here we're generating the new data. Small example, uh, this is a discriminative, it's a classifier. You have cat images, dog images, you train the classifier using neural networks. And whenever new images come of dog, it's classify whether it's a dog or cat. And in generative technique, we give lots of images to the generative model. It's find the pattern, it's try to understand how the pixel works for the dog. And whenever we give the prompt, we generate the dog, it generates the new images for us. Right? So this is how discriminative technique and generative technique differs. Now, when to use what? Suppose you are trying to predict a number, we are trying to predict a class, we are trying to predict a probability. Then you have to use deep learning or machine learning. So it's a non-GNAI use cases. But if you're trying to generate new images, try to generate new audio, try to generate new text, then it's become generative AI use case. Right? So based upon what actual output you want, we can decide whether to use Gen AI or not. There are some uh, there are some overlap between these two, but high level, if you are generating new data, then generative AI can be used. Now, foundation model, right? Very important. What is foundation model? So, foundation model, these are very big models. So, this is a model like Gemini, ChatGPT. These are the foundation model, and this is trained on lots of data, which we as a single person can do that. So, it is trained on labeled data, unlabeled data, video data, images, so all kind of data. And these are very big model, like 70 billion, 80 billion parameter model. And it require a lot of compute. It's like 100 or 200 GPU. And it takes 1 or 2 months to train the single model. So it's very expensive. It's very time consuming. That's why the big company like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, they have all the resources, they have all the data. So what they generally do, they train this foundation model, the big model. Once that model is ready, this model is fine-tuned for the specific task. Suppose you want a different, separate model for text generation. What we do, we take this foundation model, we take some amount of data, not like this, but very little amount of data for text generation use case, and we fine-tune this model for this use case. Code generation. Suppose same model can be used for code generation. What we do, we take the foundation model, and this foundation model is fine-tuned with code generation kind of data, small amount of data. And this is specifically tuned for code generation. So that when you ask this model to generate some Python code or any language code, it generates the code because this is trained on that data. Similar, if you wanted to generative images. We take the same foundation model, here also same foundation models, here also same foundation model, here also same foundation model, but it is fine-tuned again on the text data so that it can handle this image generation task on, right? But this is how foundation model works. Foundation model are pretty big, not easy to train. It's very time consuming and very costly, right? Now let's see the difference of traditional machine learning model and this LLM. In traditional machine learning model, you need ML expertise. You need to train the data. You need a training data. You need to fine tune the model. You train the model. Everything you have to do by yourself. So when I used to use work as a machine learning engineer, when JNI was not there, most of the 80% time I used to work with the data only. I need to find the data. I need to curate the data, uh, remove any issues with the data, analyze the data, find the pattern in the data, create a new feature. This was the 80% of time I used to spend on. And then 20% I need to try different model, tree-based model, SVM, logistic regression based upon the use case. I used to train on that. Then I used to compare the losses of each model, then fine-tune the model, hyperparameters I used to do. Once it is done, I used to deploy the model. Right? So this was the life cycle at that time, traditional model. Now with the GenAI, do you need ML expertise to develop the model? No. To train, no training example is needed. No model is needed. The only thing you need to think about the prompt design, because all these things it is covered in the foundation model. So big company, what they are doing, they are removing all these steps. They are doing all these things. Once the model is ready, they are giving to us. Now, as a LLM developer, what you have to do, we need to do the prompt tuning on this or prompt designing to get the desired output, right? So this is how it is changing now. But whether to not to focus on these things, we'll talk out the end. Generally, this is how the difference you see, and this you can see how fast it is happening. Just 2 3 years back, I used to do all these things. Now suddenly everything is changed. So whatever I used to do is no longer required at this moment. Only thing I have to work on is prompt design. Just to summarize, what is generative language model? It it's find the pattern in the training data, and whenever we give prompt, predicts the next token or next word. This is what generative model is doing. Let's see the example. Now I am given this text. Now generative AI model, what it will do? It will see, given this word, what are the probability of next word coming? So these are the option I get. And from where I'm getting this data? I'm getting this from training data. On the training data, model C, given this text, these are the model these are the words most probably come after given this text, right? Now this will have some higher probability. Let's just for simplicity, let's assume it has 0.9%, 0.9 probability. This has 0.8, 0.7. Likewise, go. And there will be lot many words which will have 0.001% probability or 0.0045% probability, but every word will have some probability, right? Now, what LLM is doing is try to see what are the most probable word will come after given this text, and it's keep on building. If we'll add jelly, for example, then it will see, given all this word, including jelly, what are the probability of next word coming? Again, it will see from the training data what is the next word which has the highest probability. Then we'll keep on adding that text. So that way, it's keep on generating the text. It keep on increasing the generating the paragraph for us. So GenAI, what actually is doing is only predicting the next word. nothing else. And how it is doing? Based upon the probability. Now you will say you must have observed if you give one prompt to any LLM model, it generates the text every time different. You must have observed that, right? Every time it will generate, if you given the same prompt, it will every time it will generate a different text, right? So how this happening? So there are some parameters are there for LLM. So let's see important parameters. First one is temperature. The temperature means randomness. Zero means less random. One means more creative. For example, suppose jelly it has zero point 0.9 probability. If I give the temperature one, it will always select jelly. Whenever this word come, it always select a jelly. If my temperature is zero, now my temperature suppose is one. One is more randomness, more creativity. If I keep my temperature one, there are high chances that other words which have less probability than this jelly will also get selected, right? So if you want more randomness, more creativity, we have to keep temperature on higher side. But we want exact answer, we have to keep temperature zero. Zero means always time, highest probability one will be selected. There is another parameter, top P. Now, if you can see, there are 10 words, most probable word, but along with that, there might be hundreds of words which will have 0.01 probability coming next. Now, out of that, which one to select? I need to limit that. So P is the best example. P can be used. P is a probability. If I put P equal to zero point 0.8, it will select the words whose cumulative probability is 0.8. Now we can see here there are lot many words, but I'm selecting three words because its addition of these three is zero point 0.8. Now whenever next word will come, it will come from these three, right? So that way I'm limiting my probability of selecting any randomness. I'm selecting that I want to select the next words which has better probability, right? So higher the P means more randomness, lower the P means less randomness. Now I selected P equal to zero point 0.8. Now here I get only three words, right? But in actual, there might be hundreds of words whose cumulative probability zero point 0.8. Now again, how I can limit that? I don't want to see the word which has very, very less probability, like 0.003. How I can do that? There is another parameter called K. So K equal to 2 means out of these three, whose probability, cumulative probability was zero point 0.8, I want top two words to be next. So when I keep K equal to 2, out of this, only two words will be my next word. Out of this two, anyone. Now, if my temperature is 1, 0, it will always select flower as my next word. If my probability temperature is highest, means more randomness means tree might also get selected. Yeah, there are more chances of selecting tree as a next one, right? So if you can see, based upon these three parameters, you can control how creative, how unique answer you want from LLM, because LLM is generating the text. It's always selecting the next word. But we can guide them, we can guide the LLM to select the words which are not that random, right? So these are the some of the way we can control. Otherwise, what will happen? LLM will keep on generating next token, next word, and it might not make any sense actually, right? Which is called hallucination. But with help of these three parameters, we can control that hallucination, right? Now we're talking about the hallucination. Uh, Hallucination, as I said, LLM, what they're doing, they're predicting the next word one by one. And many time it happens, the next token is selected, might not make any sense. Because the LLM doesn't understand the complete sentence, right? It just check the probability of next word, whichever higher based upon my this three parameter is keep on selecting, right? Many time you will see you give the prompt, it will create a random answer for you. It will create a random text for you. And this is called hallucination. And hallucination is a very big problem, very big challenge in the industry because company wants the model which does not hallucinate, right? Otherwise, there will always doubt in mind whatever prediction they are doing, this is correct or not. Whatever the model is generating is correct or not, right? So obviously, as a human, there is always a doubt if the model hallucinates. And industry uh, and research, they're trying very hard to reduce this hallucination. They're trying to make the model more robust so that people can blindly trust on the whatever text they are generating, right? Because if you give model any prompt, it will generate a text. Anything you ask, anything, it will generate a text. It doesn't understand whether that is correct or not. It just keep on generating text, right? And this is called hallucination. And as I said, this is a very big problem in the industry, and there are a lot of efforts are putting on to see how we can reduce the hallucination and we can build a trust on the text or the output generated by LLM. Now, why this happened? Right? So there are some reason why this hallucination happen, why this model create a text which is a garbage, which doesn't make a sense, which grammatically incorrect. So one of the reason is there is not enough data. As I said, this LLM model are very big. They are of 170 billion parameter. It's very complex, and there are lot many parameters in there. And to train those parameters, we need lot of data, like hundred of TBs of data, which even we can't store in our laptop. And if we don't provide that much of data, then it hallucinates. Another example is noisy or dirty data. And this is quite obvious. If you data itself is noisy or dirty, model will train on same data and will try to predict the same dirty out. Not third reason is not given the enough context. Now, when we do the prompting, we need to sometimes provide a context on what topic it needs to create the text. And if we does not provide those contexts, it might create a random answer which does not make sense. And also, again, if we do not give the constraints, if we wanted to, if we want a model to write an essay on elephant, and we do not provide a context that only generate a essay of 100 words. This is the constraint. Do not write a essay other than elephant. This is the constraint. So we need to provide a lot of constraints to the model so that within that constraint, within those rules, it generates the output. Otherwise, again, it will randomly create any data which might not make any sense. Now, prompting, right? What is prompting? As I said, LLM model is generating the next text, it's generating the next token. But we need to provide some text before it generate a next token, right? This is called prompting. Now, LLM is trained on lot of data, a lot of internet data. It has all the information. Now it's our duty, it's our job to extract those information from LLM. And how we can do that? Through the prompting. We need to give them exact prompt what we want model to generate. For example, if I have a text, I want to specify that, okay, summarize this text in 100 words, summarize this text in 10 words, something like that. So based upon our prompting, model will generate the output. Guys, I will take the question at the end. Please hold on for that.
Okay.
Uh, all right. So this is one example. If you wanted to generate a poem in particular style, we have to explicitly say that, okay, generate a poem in the style of X. Likewise, we have to prompt the model such that we get the desired output. Right? If we don't get the desired output, we might need to change the prompt. We might need to give more information to the model to get the output we desire. Now, in prompting, we provide a lot of information, right? We can provide a lot of information. Let's see. in prompting what we can provide. First one is the direct question. You just giving the question, okay, generate a essay on the elephant or ask direct question. That is simple one thing. We can provide a context. So before putting the question, we provide the context. We provide, okay, there are so many balls with this color, all this information. This is called context. And then we ask the answer. We put the question. And base what model does, model look at this context, look at the question, and based upon the context, generate the answer within this context. We can provide a more examples. So before giving the question and expecting answer, we give the examples. Here, see, I am giving the exact prompt to the model that classify into this red or white wine only. Then I give some example. Okay, this is white wine, this is red wine, and then I'm asking the question. In the context and providing the example. So what it does, it look at this context given to the model, it look at the answer, look at the questions, the question and answer example, and then generate the answer. Right? So there are different way we can provide the prompt so that we get the desired output. Suppose you ask the question but you don't get the desired output, what you can do, you can provide a context. Still not getting correct output, give them the example. So that way we have to play with this prompt till the time we get the desired output. And this is called prompt engineering. Now, there are different types of prompt. One is called zero shot prompt, means there is no example given. You directly giving the question to the model. It is called a one shot prompt. What is one shot prompt? We are getting one example to the model and then asking the question. And there are few short prompts. Few short prompts means we are getting some 2 or 3 examples to the model in the context, and then we are asking the question, and model will generate. So in generally, uh, maximum 10 example is sufficient for LLM. We don't need lot of data. If you give lot many more than 10, 20 example, then models try to overfit, right? So it's recommended you do not put lot many examples to the model. Only 4, 5 example you provide, this is sufficient for model to generate a desired output. Now, quickly, RAG, very important, retrieval augmented generation. Now, see the problem with LLM, basic problem. This is train on lot of historical data which are there on the internet. Now, as I said, training this model takes a lot of time, right? It's like 1 month, 2 months to train this model, and it's very expensive. A lot of GPU power required. Now we are generating the data every day, every seconds, and there are a lot of events happening every day, right? So it's not possible to keep on training the model every day so that it has the latest information. Not possible practically. Now LLM, which is trained on historical data, and there is, suppose day before yesterday there is one IPL match. Uh, that data is not there for the LLM. Now, if I ask who won in that match, obviously LLM doesn't have that data because it is trained on the data before that, and it will generate the answer, but actually it might not be correct, right? So that's the biggest problem. Then how we can solve the problem? Another problem with this, LLM is trained on internet data, but suppose I wanted to ask question on my domain. For example, banking domain. I'm working in a banking domain. I don't want the random answer on internet. I wanted to see the answer from my banking domain data only, right? Now that's also not possible because LLM is trained on internet data and it might not generate an accurate answer. Now, to take care of this limitation, there is this RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So RAG, what is happening? Before generating the answer, we put the question, and before model generating answer, we are providing the context to the model before generating the answer, right? So this is why RAG is very important. It somehow take care of hallucination, In industry, there are a lot of use cases around that, and everyone is trying to see how RAG can be improved, the output generated by LLM. So let's see how RAG works. For RAG, it is doing the vector search. What happening is, uh, suppose you have the PDF of 100 pages. Now you wanted to ask the question on that pages, and you want the answer to be coming from that 100 PDF plus only. Now, one thing one can do is retrieve all the 100-page text, put it in the context, and this other question. But all 100-page text might be too big to fit into the LLM input, right? So that's a challenge. So what we can do, what does a RAG do is we divide the 100-page PDF into small chunks. For example, one single page document. Likewise, there will be 100 chunks. We extract the text out of that. We convert into the vector format. So vector is like every token is converted into some vector, and all this vector will be kind of similar. Means if the two words are in similar in meaning, they will be in very close proximity in the dimension, multi-dimensional. So generally, whenever you create a vector out of your token, it will be in multi-dimensional space, and there will be one point over there. And as I said, similar looking word or similar meaning word will be smaller in distance. They will be very close to each other in this higher dimensional space. So we store it. First, we do the chunking, we extract the dates, we convert it into vector format, and then we store into vector database. This is similar kind of database, SQL database. We have the SQL database. There is a vector database specifically designed to store this vector output. So we store it over there. Now all information is there in database. Now when we ask the question, first of all, related answer paragraph will be searched in vector database. That context will be extracted and given to the model as a context. And then question will be asked based upon that context. So that way, whenever model is generating the output, it always generate based upon the context, which is retrieved from the vector database. Right? So this is very big topic. I'm just trying to simplify in the simple way, quite possible. And that way, whenever you do the search, you will try to get exact output which is trustworthy from your vector database only. Along with that, you also get the link to the page from where you got this answer, right? So that way, as a user, I can go to that page and see. If I have to verify, I can see that whether the answer is correct or not, right? So this is called grounding. So that way, RAG is very important, because lot many companies, lot many enterprises, they have a lot of documents and they wanted to find the answer in that document set, right? So that way, RAG is highly used in the industry and very important topic. Now, quickly moving, let's quickly talk about the Gemini. So if you see, uh, whatever I talked about, we are prompting in the text format only. You are giving the text, and it is generating the images or paragraph or text. But the input is only text. Now we are moving into the next phase of model, which is called multi-dimensional model. Now here is a simple example. Along with the text, this is prompt, I am giving the images as well. This is called multimodal. Along with text, images also is the input. Here it can extracting, I am giving as the input text and the image. I am giving the input video and the text. This is called multimodal input. So we are moving towards multimodal now. So this space is progressing quite fast. And if you see Gemini model is multimodal. As an input, you can give text, images, video, anything you can give. All right. Now see the opportunities over there. As I said, there is a revolution is happening, and we are lucky enough to see this happening. Right before whatever happened, we were not there. Now It's up to us whether we sit back and see it is happening or actively participate in that. To see what are the opportunities are there. Now, there are a lot of excitement towards the journey, and if you can see, a lot of impact is happening. So before I used to build a model, it's used to take for me 8 months. Now it's just a one click. It's just a API call. I give the image and ask what is about this image, and it gives the answer. I don't need to train the data, get the data, train the model, anything. Right. So that way, my productivity is increasing. And whenever there is productivity increase, obviously there will be more opportunities will be there. Now, 60%, there was survey happened. We show that 65% of CEO or executive believe that it will increase the impact on the overall productivity of their employees. Why? Obviously, if you see, you're writing the code, there are some LLM which is trained on code model. You prompt them, I need a code for this, you give the code. That way, its productivity is increasing, right? So similar way, there are lot many things, lot many industry are there. With the Gen AI, there are a lot of productive happening. And many industry are trying to adopt this Gen AI use case and try to find out where they can be used. And still they are working in progress. They're trying to understand how Gen AI can be useful for their use case. And they're doing some POC, but it's moving very fast now. Now, from the industry, this is a high level use case. They're mostly Gen AI use. First one is customer service or chatbot. Now, definitely any company has customer service. Earlier, what we used to do, we need to call them. The person sitting over there personally used to talk with us one on one or chat with one on another. But now with Gen AI and this chat technology, all the info we can train the models, or with using RAGs, we can provide all the information to the chat model, and people as a user, I can interact with the chat, and AI model will reply based upon the context provided, right? So as in that case, there is no person is needed sitting over there, right? So that way productivity increase, and this is a very highly use case because most of the company have their customer support, right? And they're very cost sensitive about that, and they're trying very hard to replace those people with the chatbots. Software development, again, lot of use case, code related models. You use Copilot, for example, which can give you codes. You just write the prompt, it generates the code. If you get the error, you just post the error to LLM and ask the a solution for that. It can give the solution for that. General efficiency overall, as I said, with LLM, everything is autonomous. It's trained on lots of data, and they can ask, if you can ask any question, it will give the answer. Data analysis, uh, how I used to do a data analysis, like at that time I had a data in data warehouse. Then used to write a SQL query on that, then create a charts or reports, and that way I used to do data analysis. But now with Gen AI, you have the data in Excel, you just give the prompt. Okay, give the analysis of this data. You don't need to write the SQL query. You don't need to create any graph or any dashboards. The LLM will do it for you. So this is quite simple. Content generation. Content generation is a very creative field, and generative AI is very good with creativity. Suppose uh, I am the company and I'm trying to generate some marketing content. So what I used to do, I used to hire one marketing company, sit with them, explain my product to them. They will generate some images, content. I will review that, then again changes. It will take 4 5 months and a lot of money. Now, with content generation, I don't need to go to other person. As a person, I just can give the prompt to the model and it will generate a content. Also, a good example is writing a box. Suppose you wanted to write a blog on any topic, generative AI, for example. You just give the prompt, it will generate the content for you. Now you can take that content as it is, or you can take some part of that and then ask another question on that. Then that way you can generate a blog. So that way, generative AI is very disruptive. That way, productivity increase a lot in that sense. Now, last year, if you see, every company was releasing new model, bigger model, and every company was trying to understand how GenAI can be used for them. This was there for last year. And Google also, I work with many company to help them build the POC. Now we are moving very fast. They wanted to deploy it. Now we are moving very fast from POC to the production. Now creating POC is one part, productionization is very different. For POC, what you can do, we can play with the prompt and see you are getting the desired output. But for production, you need different skill set. And if you see overall our landscape, uh, so data science is a small part in any big software. Software will have front end, back end, database, data warehouse, authentication, uh, then reporting, lot many things. In that, there will be small part that will be the data science, which will give the prediction, right? So having data science knowledge is must, but at the same time, you should have bigger vision. You should understand how things overall work. Now, earlier, only data science used to work on data science use case and he used to build the model. But now, model is already built, right? Now it's very important that you understand how you integrate this API call into the overall software, right? For that, pay attention to the software lifecycle, how software builds, different layer of software development. So that will be very helpful for you going forward. At the same time, deployment part is very important. It's API call, right? But how you deploy it, how you securely deploy it, that part you might need to understand how the cloud technology works. You need to understand how you can deploy this in the cloud, how you can enable the logging, how you can enable the VPC networking, security, everything. Now, building the model is very easy because it's an API call. So there is more focus on how you deploy it on the cloud. So I'll also focus on that part as well. Now, as I said, there are a lot of opportunities. Earlier, data science are limited to software industry. Now, data science will be everywhere. It will in agriculture, marketing, production, building, everywhere GenAI will be there, right? So at the same time, there will be some impact on the job, which are manual, which are repetitive. But at the same time, it will create a more jobs because as GenAI will be required apart from data software industry, there will be more requirement for the data scientist or GenAI who understand person who understand the GenAI. At the moment, there are a lot lack of skill talent. Uh, People industry are looking for good people who understand and they understand how to implement this on the production level. Investment is a challenge as of now because, as I said, these are very costly. Training this model, deploying these models, data is very costly. So that is one of the challenge. Business use case in data science, biggest challenge is understanding where AI can be used. You must have heard of the Kaggle. In Kaggle, you have they give you use case, they give the data. Now you have to just work on building the model. But the industry, it doesn't work that way. First of all, you need to understand how AI can be used for particular use case. For that, business domain expertise required. So whenever you go into the industry, focus on this part, business domain. Again, cybersecurity and data privacy is one of the challenge. Now, quickly, we are short of time, but I'll quickly talk about the interview. As I said, throughout my life, I have given a lot of interview. I have taken a lot of interview. So I'll talk about the things you have to focus on if you are going into the data science impact. First of all, Python and data structure is a must. A lot many students ask me whether they focus on data structure or not. For the freshers, I highly suggest focus on data structure and Python. Don't skip. Lot many people, students try to find out the reason to skip the data structure because it's not easy, right? Data structure can't be learned in 1 or 2 weeks. It requires a dedicated time, dedicated practice, 3 4 months of practice, right? So don't ignore that. After that, uh, machine learning, the concept of machine learning, supervised learning, how it works. In supervised learning, regression classification, how regression model work, what are the assumption of regression model, how SVM work, how tree-based model work, how random forest works, how XGBoost model works, what are the hyperparameters are there, what are the loss functions are there, how you find out the model is overfitting, how to take care of that. So all this concept you should know. Unsupervised learning, how PCA works, when to use it, how clustering works, how when to use that. Then coming to the deep learning part, how neural network works, how forward propagation works, how backward propagation works, what are the hyperparameters in the neural networks. All these things you should know. And then coming to the GenAI part, uh, in GenAI you need to understand the prompting, different way of prompting. Uh, Prompting is very important. And then in GenAI also, we can fine tune the model. Fine tune is one of the parts we can do it. If you can understand the fine tuning part, that will be also very important. And then how you evaluate the LLM model. So this space is still evolving. There are new way research is happening. What is the better way to evaluate it? But still, there are some way you can evaluate it. So these are the things are important. Quick resources I would highlight for GenAI purposes. This is a Google Skill Boost for GenAI. It will give you the complete understanding, basic of how GenAI works, how RAG works, everything. GitHub. This is a Google GitHub for GenAI. Here you will get everything. Uh, if you go to languages, prompt, prompt designing, there are example. You can come over here how to write a prompt for question answer, text generation, text summarization, lot many information there. LangChain, very important in the industry. This is the framework. So what happens is Google is building the model, Microsoft building the model, Anthropic building the model. So LangChain is a framework to add the abstraction layer on top of all the model are generated by this big company. And this is very helpful when you build the LLM LLM app or LLM use case for production. I just wanted to highlight this is very important. Gradio, creating a quick POC is very important where you have the UI, where you put the input, you get the output, showing up your capability through end to end. Gradio is very good. It's just for the POC, not a production level as of now. But look at this, just like 4 or 5 line of codes, you can create this UI where you put the input, you put the submit, and you get the output, right? For generating the end-to-end UI plus model, this is very helpful to create any quick POC. All right, this is what I wanted to cover. All right, I think we have come to end. So just to recap what we have seen, we are in the revolution, AI revolution. We have seen why this is important to participate in this. What is machine learning? What are different types of machine learning, supervised, unsupervised? Then we talk about deep learning part. Uh, then we talk about Gen AI. What is Gen AI? How it is different from traditional machine learning model? And then prompting. Some of the example of prompting. What are the different way we can control the output of the LLM? Then we talked about RAG, why this is RAG, what is hallucination, how RAG take care of this hallucination, and then we are seeing where this industry going forward, so that you can prepare for you for your interview. And at then we talk about the interview, and I hope you find this very helpful. And I think we are over the time, but we'll take the question at the end. Thank you everyone for the listening.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful presentation. The depth of your experience and your clear explanation have no doubt added immense value to all of us today here. So now we will open the floor for a brief question answer session. So guys, if
Mhm.
you have any question, you can raise your hand and then we will call you. Then you can ask your question to the sir. If you have any question, please raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Don't ask in chat box if possible. Please ask. Please raise your hand.
Yes, guys. Feel free to ask the question. Just raise the hand. Yes.
So Prat Tiwari, please unmute yourself and ask your doubt. Whatever
Yes,
you have.
sir, I had a doubt that can you like provide a roadmap into how to get like a good placement opportunities like right now in foundation level. So how do I start preparing from now to get good placements like by the time I complete it?
Okay, data science you asking for?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So see, as I mentioned, uh, data structure and Python must have. Don't ignore that. Then after, concept of machine learning, right? Even though LLM is very easy, just a API call, but having that basic understanding of fundamental of machine learning will be very important, right? Not everyone is going through that because it takes time to understand all this machine learning concept. But you're already in that field, so I highly suggest understand how each machine learning model works, how regression model works, what are the assumptions of regression model, what is SVM work, what are the parameter in SVM of tree-based model, random forest, what is the difference between these two, uh, what are the pros and cons of these two. So try to get deeper into the understanding of that. After that, deep neural network, as I said, how propagation work, forward propagation, backward propagation, what are the loss function, different loss function are there, how loss function works. And they try to understand this attention model mechanism, how it is helping, what is LLM, LSTM, what is CNN, how it was actually works. So these are important concept you should know about the basic machine learning. And then for LLM, as I said, prompting, very important, a different way of prompting, how you can, uh, different way of prompting so that we get the desired output. Then RAG is very important. Then how you can fine tune the LLM, and then how you evaluate the LLM model. So all these things are very important. And I was seeing different kind of interview, right? So, uh, but for the fresher coming out of college, the interview most probably they will ask the BSA question at the start, coding round. Then afterwards, uh, the concepts. They will focus on the concept, machine learning, deep learning, whatever you written in your resume. They will ask about that. So make sure whatever you are putting in your resume, you should add. Now, in your course, there might be hundreds, 200 students, right, doing the same course. Now it is very important how you distinguish yourself. What are the extra you have? Suppose if anyone is having any certification in cloud, that will stand out as a recruiter. If anyone has any GitHub, so in GitHub, it's very important now that you put all your projects over there in proper way, and you can showcase that. So if you have something like that, that will be stand out. If you're practicing in Kaggle and you have some medals over there, that will stand out. So try to see how you can distinguish yourself and what will be the unique. Because data science, everyone is doing the data science course, same exam everyone is giving. But see what extra you can do. That will be distinguishable and that will stand out. right? So that would be my suggestion. Even the any cloud related host, machine learning on GCP or AWS, that will also stand out.
So, other people have any doubt? So,
Yeah,
Bharat,
similar
sorry
question.
again. Okay, Arpit Sani, I will go to the Arpit Sani. Arpit Sani.
Sir, what will be the future of data science according to you?
So data science will be there for sure. And as I said, data science is going. Earlier, it was limited to software industry, but now it's going to other industry as well. So there is a lot of demand. Now, LLM, as I said, LLM is making us easy to build the model and deploy the model. So build the model, but deployment part will be important. Now, going forward, this model will be everywhere. Now, all this model on cloud, they have the API call. But I think going forward, you will have the model in your laptop, dedicated model in your laptop downloaded. Uh, you will have the model dedicated on your mobile devices. You will have the LLM model deploy on your TV, computer, hardware, everything. So going forward, I think LLM not only the uh, accuracy perspective, but a latency perspective is important. For the industry, they don't want a big model. They want a faster model and cheaper model. Even though the accuracy is less, that's fine with the industry, but they want to have the maybe smaller model or cheaper model where the latency is less. And I think going forward, there will be a lot of revolution happening in the robotics industry. Now you will see this LLM model will be deployed on the robots, and you can see the robots in coming 2 3 years will be that field will be getting impacted in a good way. So there are a lot of opportunity. I highly encourage uh, participate in that. Stay updated with the latest technology, what is happening, and try to practice as much as possible.
Okay, so let's take next question. Prawar Gada, Darshan, can you ask a question? Yeah, just mute
Hello,
yourself.
sir. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Can you give a brief introduction about the evaluation in LLMs like fine tuning after fine tuning?
Okay. So see, evaluation, what is happening? Evaluation, how you can. Uh, there are different. If you have the summarization, you have the summarized output from the LLM, and you have the expected summarization output. Now the question answer, you can use the LLM for the question answer. If there is a question answer uh, kind of use case, you have the actual output, what is the actual answer and what is the predicted output. So that way you can just compare the text word by word. And you can say if it is matches, it's a correct. If it does not match, then it is wrong answer. Then you do it for all the uh, all the data points you have. Then you calculate the accuracy, whether F1 score, accuracy, recall, whatever you want. So that way, for classification or question answer, you can use that. For summarization or text generation, there are different metrics. The blue score, it is a BLUE, blue score. This is a statistical meaning of that. And we don't need to calculate. There are library available. You just provide the generated text and actual. Then it will give you the blue score. So that way, there are many metrics are there, but industry is still trying to find out what is the best way to evaluate. But if you can go on the LangChain, the framework I just mentioned, there is one evaluation model. So inside that, you will get all the way how you can evaluate for text classification, how you can evaluate for text generation, how you evaluate for summarization, right? So that way, LangChain is a good library to do the evaluation parts, and this is highly used in industry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
so Gyan Prakash, yeah, unmute yourself, you can ask your doubt. Gyan Prakash,
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
are you audible?
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Good.
sir, my question is, can we study for the SDE as well as data science role at the same time.
Uh, I think going it's up to you how much time you have and how you divide the time. It's all about the time management, right? So what's your focus? But as I said, uh, going forward, building this model is very easy. Means it's already built. We have to just use it. So other part will be very important. How you integrate this in the software, how you interact with the other software component. So I suggest going forward, not only data scientists, uh, data engineer, data analyst, software engineer, everyone will use this API calls, right? So it's very important that you understand the complete picture uh, and practice on that. Uh, the Gradio, which I mentioned, the app, you can create a POC, but if you have to productionize this, you need to understand the complete picture, software development, and then how you can use this API call into that, right? So I suggest if you have time, just do uh, spend time on that. In the long run, it will help you a lot.
Okay, so I think we should take one more question, sir, then we should wrap up because already we have 20 minutes. Right? So, yeah, Subhojit, please
Yeah,
unmute your
hello.
ask the last
Hello, am
question.
I audible?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So with respect to RAG, I have one question.
Mhm.
Suppose I have some text document and I want to ask a question related to that only. So and regarding to summarization also, what are the really available LLMs are there? Because I have some, suppose not a few data, I have some around 10,000 data, text data files. So
Text
I
data.
want to,
Mhm.
yeah, so I have to process it. So what are the freely available LLMs are there which I can use for this purpose?
Yeah. So see, for RAG, there are two parts. One is creating the vector data, and second was in retrieval part. So first part is creating the vector database. So what we have to do for your use case, you have the multiple text file. As I have said, you need to divide those into the small group, uh, divide it into chunks, extract the text, and store it into vector database. All these things in LangChain, there are library available, so you don't need to write the code where you look through all the text file and then you divide. Go to LangChain and see there are readily available libraries are there. You just have to provide your source path, the folder path where all the texts are there, and how you want to create these chunks. Once the chunk is there, there is a vector database is there to store this text into the vector format. All these things, again, we don't have to convert manually text into vector. This is already library available, but we just need to understand how to utilize this library. Once you uh, store the text into the vector database, now LLM parts come. So what LLM is doing, whenever you asking the question, it's going into the vector database, searching for relevant answer, summarizing that, and then putting that into the context, and then giving the answer, right? So all these things happen behind the scene. I highly suggest go to LangChain RAG. There you can use any open source model to do the RAG. You don't need anything. And for even for the vector database, there are open source database which is very free. It's free of cost. You can easily build any POC with the help of that. So everything is available nowadays on the open source platform. So you don't need to worry about paying for this LLM users. But go for the LangChain.
Okay, so now it's time to wrap up the session. So thank you so much, Nishant sir, for answering our questions with such a detail and passion. And all thank you all of you for those thoughtful questions. Now we come to in part of the session. On behalf of Sundarban's House, thank you all for attending today's session. And thank you, Nissan sir, for sharing your invaluable insights on GenAI and career opportunities in GenAI. Your journey inspires us all. Your expertise is a guiding light. We extend and deepest gratitude from Sundarban's house to you, and your contribution is immeasurable. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the insights on GenAI.
Yeah, thanks for inviting. For everyone, I suggest if you have any question, please connect with me on the LinkedIn and ask over their question. If any help needed, any guidance is needed, happy to help. You can ask me a question on my LinkedIn profile. All right.
Okay, thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks
So
for
let's
joining. Have a good
proceed.
day. Bye.
Bye, bye, sir. Thank you. Uh, and for guys, for getting more updates on our placement series, follow our social media handles, and all the recordings of the placement series are available on the Sundarban's IIT YouTube channel. So if you have missed our previous session or upcoming session, you can just go to the YouTube and search Sundarban's IITM. You will get our YouTube channel. You can subscribe it that, and you will get all the recordings of the session. So if you have missed, then check out our YouTube channel and follow our social media handles for getting more updates on upcoming sessions on placement series. Thank you all. Uh, Manu, can you paste the link of our social media handles in a chat box?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Hope you all are in the WhatsApp group, right? The official WhatsApp group created for this sessions, these series. And if you are not, please do check your mails. If you have registered for this event,
and
this series.
guys, if you have any suggestion, then please let me know how we can improve this placement series. What are things we should add to make it better? If you have any suggestion, please let me know. What are things we can do here to make it more better and better?
Because we are open to all the suggestions, right? Feel free to give us suggestions because suggestions are the thing which makes everything better, right?
Most of session will be delivered by expert of each domain. So you will get the one of the best insight from India's one of the best expert of each domain. So don't miss any session. And if you have any doubt, you can raise your hand at the end of the session. You can ask your question, whatever you have. And for getting more updates, please follow our social media handles. You will get all the upcoming event detail notification on our social media handles.
So till now, we have covered this one session, right? Placement series, how to formulate a strong resume, right? It was an amazing session. Then on 11th of May, we covered mastering SQL and opportunities. It was again a very nice session. Saka ma'am covered everything, right? And today we had this particular session